Welcome back to Season 2 of Snubs and Dubs. We're talking about the Snubs and Dubs of the 87th Academy Award for Best Picture. I'm your host, Kyle Tobiasson, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Jason Miller. Jason, are there more doors or wheels?
I've seen this debate around, and I'm torn. Because there are, in fact, a lot of wheels in the world. Mm-hmm. Every car has some.
Yeah.
I like to think a lot of production and assembly lines probably use a lot.
Yeah.
But here's one thing to consider. Every house, every living area has multiple doors. Yeah. Probably a lot of closet doors. I don't know if we're counting cupboard doors in there, but I feel like they meet the definition. So having weighed these two options, I think it's doors.
You think it's doors?
I think it's doors.
I haven't given this too much thought, but I was thinking about leaning wheels because people were saying that gears can be considered wheels.
I don't know about that. And I don't like that.
But then people were also stretching, like saying that you could consider the valves in your heart a door.
Okay, guys, we're straying from the. We're losing the plot here.
But then you see like these images of people that are like at conveyor belts in like factories, and just the amount of wheels.
Yeah, that's
off the charts. But then you look at Monsters Inc.
That's a lot of doors. That's true. But then you think of Cars. The movie.
Cars have 4 doors and 4 wheels, though.
In the movie.
Do
they have doors?
That's a good question.
Yeah. That's something to think about. I've never seen Cars. That was partially a question. But I don't think, when I think of Kerchow himself, Lightning McQueen, I don't think he has doors.
I don't think he has doors either, because what would be inside him? Would you just be opening the door to his innards?
It's like cutting his chest wide open. Horrific.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm leaning wheels, but I'm still uncertain in this debate. I have yet to see somebody who can really sway me one way or the other.
Yeah. It's a fun thing to think about. There's no real answer because the definition of both probably gets murky enough that you could either include or exclude like entire swaths of game changing numbers. So there's no right answer, but it's doors. So wheel team, shut up.
I mean, there is a band called The Doors.
That's true.
Is there a band called The Wheels?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I'm aware of. No. So something to think about.
That's at least one other door in the pile.
Did you watch anything in the last week?
I've had a week of bees.
Oh, yeah?
First of all, The Batman.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, you got to see it.
Hell yeah, I did. Dude, it's so good.
It's so fucking good.
It's so good. It's 3 hours long, and I didn't hate it at 3 hours long.
Yeah.
I did not mind that.
Mm-hmm. I had the pleasure of seeing it again, too.
Ooh, so you're double Batman.
Yeah, I double Batman.
That's 6 hours of Batman. Were you ever tired of 6 hours of Batman?
No.
That's how good it is.
There's like, I think when I watched it the second time, it was easier to reflect on the whole movie. And I definitely think that I enjoy the first 2/3 of it a bit more than the last third of it.
I feel that.
But like the whole, the movie as a whole is like really fun to watch.
Oh, it's so good. It is a really good, refreshing take on Bruce Wayne as far as like the Batman movies go.
Yeah.
Because, you know, sometimes you get bored of the suave playboy millionaire archetype, and you just want a dude who is Batman and occasionally has to put pajamas on. But like for the most part, his life is Batman. That's the thing he actually gives a shit about. And I think that's a cool take on it.
Yeah, me too. And like it made sense too, because he's that like recluse billionaire that people don't see. Like, and I really enjoyed that take, and not like you said, like just like the billionaire playboy, you know, 4 or 5 women on his arm sort of thing.
Constantly committing war crimes. Yeah. We've seen that. We've experienced it. I will say the one thing that the only thing that stood out to me that didn't quite pique my enjoyment was Batman will never respond to a non-important character, but occasionally it just felt like NPCs talking to him. Yeah. There's this one particular scene. It's near the end in particular, so there won't be no particular details coming out about it, but it was really rough for that, where Batman is in a room with another person, and the person's talking to him. He's like, "You can't be here." And then Batman doesn't say anything. And he's like, that thing in your hand's a notebook. And then Batman doesn't say anything. He's like, I wonder what that leads to. It's like, this is the opening intro to NPCs where you can't respond to them, but they have to regurgitate plot information to you. So because someone's trying to impart important information to Batman, but he refuses to talk to him, it was so janky.
Yeah, it was. That's good. quick, it's like 1 minute of spoilers.
Yes.
But what did you think of the scene where Batman and Riddler are at Arkham and they're having that conversation, and the Riddler kind of eggs on that he knows Bruce Wayne is Batman, but then pulls the rug out on that. What did you think of that? And do you think he still knows?
I don't think he actually knows who Batman is, but I'm not 100% certain in that because I didn't see how it would play to his advantage to pull the rug on it at the end.
Yeah.
If he, for some reason, could play mind games with Batman by doing that, then I would believe he actually did know it was Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any advantage to what he did. And because he was so mad that Batman wasn't actually on his side like he thought he was, if he knew it was Bruce Wayne, he'd do something with it.
For sure.
I don't think he did.
Yeah.
What's your take?
I'm in the same boat. Like, I feel like if he knew that that was Bruce Wayne, he probably wouldn't have been using him as this tool that he thought. And he would probably be looking at Batman completely different because he thinks Batman is this ally to him in this whole endeavor and that he's on his side throughout the whole thing, you know, bringing out this corruption and beating up the bad guys. And I thought that was like incredibly interesting, especially how Batman reacts.
Yeah.
He's so pissed because he played
Joker
him.
was right. Yeah. He got... And it's cool because it's not like the Joker didn't 100% chess master play him. He also thought Batman was on his side. So it's not like he was intentionally misleading. He thought he was giving clues to Batman to go do things.
Yeah.
And Batman was just unwittingly carrying it all out, trying to solve it.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
It was really cool. I liked it. Okay, spoilers done.
Yeah.
Did you watch anything else?
Yes. The other B was Belfast.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
okay, yes.
It was enjoyable. Really fun shot movie. Pretty movie. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, like, it's not something that's going to blow me away.
That's what
the car bombs are for. But it was interesting. I liked it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be one of my like grand slams for best picture, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Speaking of, before next episode, we're going to do an Oscars preview episode for the 2021 Oscars, or I guess it's the 2022 Oscars, but for the films of 2021. So look forward to that. It'll be kind of our quick predictions and what we think deserves to win, what should win, what probably will win.
Yeah.
And other surprises. So yeah, look forward to that. But other than that, you didn't watch anything else?
Nope, that was it for me. What did you watch, Kyle?
Well, I'm going to clarify something because I have been probably looking like an idiot for weeks now because of how these episodes come out. But Attack on Titan was not done the next episode.
Kyle has gone to his full issuing an apology mode. I am sorry for misrepresenting timelines.
But I guess the Wikipedia page wasn't showing the other episodes because they didn't have names yet, I guess. And so I was just going off that. I was like, oh, there's only 1 or 2 left and then I'll be done. But no, I guess there's like a couple more. It ends in like April. I think there's like 4 more now or 3 more after the one I just watched. So, and the one I just watched was like definitely that kind of calm before the storm episode where they're like just sitting and talking and nothing really happens, but there's some cool character moments. So yeah, but okay, it'll be a couple weeks before my final thoughts on Attack on Titan.
But they're coming, folks. That's for sure.
I did watch one other thing though, and it was the movie Fresh.
How was that? I've heard interesting things about it.
It is definitely interesting. I started watching it with Molly, and we got to a point where Molly was like, I don't want to watch this anymore. And so I was like, okay. And it wasn't just because it was bad.
Yeah.
What have you heard about this movie?
I just heard it was weird.
Yeah.
And people had mixed experiences watching it, going between I get it.
Yeah.
And I don't like this.
I kind of fall into that too because, okay, are you going to watch it? Probably not.
I don't care about spoilers.
Yeah, okay.
That's so, yeah. But I'm interested.
All right. So like fair warning, this is going to be like, it's about 10 minutes into the movie that this reveal happens. But if you don't know it, it's like more of a surprise. But essentially Sebastian Stan, who like meets the lead character played by Daisy Edgar Jones. I think that's her name.
I don't know.
He takes her to his house and basically kidnaps her. But he is a cannibal. But not just an ordinary cannibal. He is a guy who is a surgeon, and he will keep you alive while strategically removing parts of your body to sell to like very, very rich people and also kind of enjoy some himself.
Of course, on the side. Yeah. A little for you, a little for me.
Yeah. And so he's like very wealthy, but the movie is very gross with how it shows like meat. And like, just like, I mean, it's human flesh in the movie. Obviously, they're probably not using real human flesh to show these shots, but like the implication is that it is human flesh and you're seeing it grow through like meat grinders, and like they have to eat some of it, and it's very gross.
Yeah.
But it's also not a bad movie. However, it is a very typical kidnapper type movie, just with the cannibal twist.
Okay.
That's kind of how I feel about it. And so it's fine. It's fun enough, but if you don't think you can stomach it, which Molly definitely couldn't, and that was a surprise too, because I didn't know that it was a cannibal thing going in. And so I was like, oh, this is like, it's out of Sundance. It's got 85% Rotten Tomatoes. You know, it's got our boy Sebastian Stan. He's, you know, good looking and everything and fun.
It is certified fresh.
Yeah, it was. But it was, a troubling experience to get through nonetheless. So yeah, I don't know if I would recommend it, because it is definitely difficult to watch, but it wasn't horrible. I'll say that. And Sebastian Stan, I liked how he was in kind of a different way here. And like he was outside of his normal character of like being just like a nice bro guy or like the Bucky type. Yeah. He was like psychotic, like just like disturbed.
That's cool.
Which was cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun to see him take on new things.
Yeah. Cool. We've gone on a little bit enough. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of this episode. Of course, season 2 of Snubs and Dubs is covering the films from the year 2014. And for episode 6, we are talking about John Wick. Have you seen it before?
I have seen it before.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I thought this movie was a lot older than it is.
Yeah.
I don't think, like, not because of any part of the movie, but because of the cultural impact that it had.
Yeah.
I thought it's been around for a while, but now it's 2014.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say the cultural impact. We'll get into that a little bit later. But like, yeah, we have 2 other sequels for this movie now. But this wasn't the biggest hit right off the bat.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you see it in theaters or did you see it on streaming later?
No, I only watched this like maybe a year ago was my first time at home. And I didn't even, I guess maybe that's why I thought it was older, because I don't remember when it was in theaters, really. Yeah. How about you? Have you seen it before?
I did see it in theaters, but it was one of those that I went after word of mouth was good.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was able to see it in theaters, which was cool. And it was nice to see because it's obviously a fun theater movie. But I remember the theater being quite empty when I went too. And that kind of goes into the fact that this movie didn't hit right off the bat, and it's found its audience later over streaming and through other various ways of accessing this movie, because it has definitely grown as a franchise into a franchise now, where they like are on the 4th movie is coming out next year, and they're trying to plan like spin-off TV shows. Like it is like a franchise now, but humble beginnings. So
interesting.
Yeah. The last time you watched it was probably last year though.
Yeah, it was like around Christmas time.
Yeah,
last year.
Yeah, I think I hadn't seen this since 2019 when the 3rd one came out. And then I did a watch through of all of them before going to the 3rd one. So.
Was there a big break between the 1st and the 2nd one?
Yeah, 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
The second is 2017.
Yeah, they was probably waiting on it to be big enough success to bother doing more.
Yeah.
Which is, like, I get it. But it was so good. It's wild that it didn't hit right away.
Yeah.
Because now it's like one of the action franchises. Like when you think of The Matrix, this is right after. This is like number 2. Boom. Both Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Both really good action movies.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump into it. If you were interested in John Wick, I've included the links to the physical media related to it in the show notes. There's a nice 4K movie in there that I have, so you should get the 4K. It looks very good. If you buy through that link, it'll help out our show. Or if you have any other Amazon shopping to do, follow that general link to help out the show in the process. A reminder that this is going to be a spoiler-filled conversation, so if you haven't seen John Wick yet, go ahead and do so. Without further ado, let's get into it. Legendary assassin John Wick retired from his violent career after marrying the love of his life. Her sudden death leaves John in deep mourning when sadistic mobster Iosef Tarasov, Russian names are going to be hard to get
a bunch of those.
Yeah, and his thugs steal John's prized car and kill the puppy that was his last gift from his wife. John unleashes the remorseless killing machine within and seeks vengeance. This movie is directed by Chad Stahelski. And his directorial debut, he was a longtime stuntman and stunt coordinator for pretty big movies. And he was a stunt double for Keanu Reeves through the Matrix movies.
Oh, that's really cool. I didn't know that little tidbit.
Chad Stahelski is the credited director, and David Leitch is the credited producer. This is due to the fact that DGA regulations allow for only having one director to be credited, unless an unusual exception is made. So these guys were co-directors, but only one could be credited.
Yeah.
So you'll see Chad being the credited director, but they did it together. So they weren't granted an exception for this case. So they've just been doing director and producer. And Stahelski didn't even take a producer credit on this movie, even though he was that heavily involved because of this credit thing.
You'll also see absolute movie rubes, like myself tweeting that it only had one director because I saw one director credited.
Yeah.
And then immediately upon looking into it even slightly further, saw that it was directed by two people, but I'd already sent the tweet out like hours before. And then I'm not going to change that.
No.
No.
It's like one of those things where it's like the Coen brothers. You know them as the Coen brothers, but it's always Joel Coen that's the credited director.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, even they can't get away with it.
Damn.
So this was written by Derek Kolstad. He was the writer for the 3 released John Wick movies, but not the 4th one. So
interesting departure.
Yeah. Another fact, this intro bit has been filled with facts because it's a very fact-filled movie, but I guess this was a passion project for Derek. And the original script was sold in 2012 under the name Scorn.
Oh.
In 2013, Keanu Reeves agreed to star in the film and suggested the name of the film be changed to John Wick after the title character, who was named after the writer's maternal grandfather.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Also, a very good move. This movie is probably a lot better off for being called John Wick and not Scorn.
Yeah, because Scorn just sounds like any other action movie.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe a little horror-esque, which would have brought you down the wrong path for what this movie actually is.
Yeah.
And John Wick's just a good name.
It is just a good name.
Yeah.
Strong, and it's held the franchise.
It's well held together. No one's watching these movies with any other name. They're there because they want to see John Wick the movie.
Who wants to see Scorn 2? Like,
God, no.
All right, well, it stars Keanu Reeves as John Wick. It actually has a pretty good cast for being kind of like a sleeper hit.
Yeah.
Michael Nyqvist as Viggo Tarasov. He unfortunately passed away in 2017.
Oh.
It was lung cancer. He was only 56.
That's really sad.
Yeah, it made me sad. I read that before I watched it again, and it made me even sadder.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. It stars Alfie Allen as Iosef Tarasov, Adrian Palicki as Miss Perkins, Ian McShane as Winston, John Leguizamo as I don't even know this name. Aurelio? Sure.
Aurelio, yeah, I think.
Yeah. And Willem Dafoe as Marcus. It has a runtime of 101 minutes and it premiered on September 19th, 2014 at Fantastic Fest before going wide on October 24th, 2014. Well, we all like John Wick, don't we?
Who doesn't like John Wick? Let's not lie to ourselves.
Yeah. Well, do you have a quick plot synopsis for us?
Oh, I think I brought one with me.
Yeah, all right. Let's just jizz in this real quick. Yeah, you can. Yeah, by all means.
Dude, thank you. Well, John Wick lives a normal life with his wife Helen, and the two have lived happily for 5 years. John then loses Helen to a terminal illness and is heartbroken. While struggling with his loss, he receives a beagle puppy named Daisy that Helen had arranged to send before she died to help him cope with his grief. Despite John's stoic demeanor, he bonds with the puppy, and they spend the day driving around in his vintage 1969 Ford Mustang Mach 1. You can only assume at this point that nothing bad will ever happen to this puppy.
I mean, except for maybe the trauma of that car ride, because he absolutely went ham at that airport. Like, he was fucking whipping and turning, and that puppy was not locked down by any means.
I don't think the dog was in the car when he did that.
See, I think that, but then he never went home in between.
I know, but I don't think he was in the car when he did that.
I mean, obviously, when they actually did that, the puppy was not in the car. You don't see the puppy in the car. But logically, if you look at the scores that the movie takes,
lie to myself.
The puppy was probably in the car as he was doing it.
He's a good father. He gave him to a babysitter.
He fed him cereal to start.
He's in a puppy seat. Well, with his dog safely secured in his vintage 1969 Ford Mustang Mach 1, he has to go refuel. And at a gas station, he encounters a trio of Russian gangsters whose leader, Yusuf, insists on buying his car, which John refuses to sell. That evening, the gangsters break into John's home, knock him unconscious, kill Daisy and steal the car. Oh, something bad did happen to the dog. Oh,
those fuckers. What a good way to make you absolutely hate somebody.
Yeah.
Just kill their dog.
I already don't like Iosef because he's smoking, but then he goes and kills a dog and it's like, okay, now I know he's a baddie.
Yeah.
Iosef takes the Mustang to a chop shop to have the VIN changed. Aurelio, the shop's owner, recognizing the car and knowing who it was stolen from, punches Iosef and throws him out. Aurelio is then visited by John, who identifies Iosef as the son of Vigo Tarasov, the head of the Russian mafia in New York City. Aurelio relays Iosef's activities to Vigo, who beats and berates Iosef before explaining to him who John Wick is, a famed assassin formerly in Vigo's employ, nicknamed the Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga.
I like how they talk about him almost as like a villain in this sense.
Yeah.
They're like hyping him up to be just like the baddest dude. I like the line, it's like, the bodies he buried that day build the foundation of where we are now.
Yeah.
And like, because when he starts, like, you don't really think that he's like, you know, that badass of a guy. Obviously, you know, this is going to be a cool action movie and that Keanu Reeves is going to kick some ass. But like, he gets hit in the head and just like gets knocked out. And so when you first see him in that encounter, like, he doesn't look cool. But then they start talking about him and you're like, oh shit.
See, here's my opinion on that.
Yeah.
I think they did too much just saying things that he's done and not enough showing him being a badass.
Right.
Because the scene where the home intruders break in and he kills 11 bajillion guys made me realize, oh, this is the Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
But just kind of saying like he killed so many people to do a thing. I didn't care. I was a little annoyed by that as a plot device to set up how cool he is when like minutes later he is being the Baba Yaga.
Yeah. But then like, other movies do this to talk about their villain.
Yeah.
Like they'll be like, oh, he, you know, fucking wiped out a planet or some shit. Like Thanos is terrifying and whatever. But then like they're talking about the hero, like the guy that we're supposed to like.
Yeah. Like it's a really interesting thing, but I thought they spent too much time.
Maybe a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very elegant wordplay, but yeah, a lot of talk.
When John wanted to retire and marry Helen, Vigo had given him an impossible task implied to involve multiple high-level assassinations in a short period of time. To Vigo's surprise, John succeeded, and his efforts were key in establishing the Tarasov Syndicate. After warning Iosef of his impending doom, Vigo tries to talk John out of seeking retribution, but John refuses to talk. Vigo sends a team of hitmen to John's house, but John kills all of them and enlist an underworld cleaning service to dispose of the bodies and evidence. What I really, really love about this movie is all the shit that they just kind of imply and don't spend any time talking about.
Yeah.
Like in these scenes, they introduce these gold coins that they never explain, but seem to be like exchanges for like assassinations or favors or like all the it's just like an underworld Bitcoin, otherwise known as Bitcoin.
Yeah, I like how this, like you said, this world implies a lot, but I also like how vast this world seems and how when he starts going down this path of like getting revenge, you start to pick up the pieces every bit as you go, and eventually you get to the Continental, and then it kind of explodes into the world building of this movie. And I think that's what really separates John Wick as a franchise from other action movies, because this could have just been taken, but you know, you killed his dog.
Yeah.
But because of the world building they do, and because of the interesting landscape that they place John in, and you know, the backstory that they imply or they say, you know, in various monologues, you are interested in the world and in John more so than you would be than a traditional action hero.
Yeah. And this is something that is also a part I really like about Nightcrawler is they just give you the character and the things you need to know about him you'll pick up over the length of the movie.
Yeah.
We're not going to waste 20 minutes telling you who he was. All you need to know is his wife dying, getting the dog. Like that's important to know why he's doing the things he's doing. But we're not going to bother telling you his entire like whatever decade-long career of assassinations, what his favorite foods are. It's like he's a wife guy, his wife's dead, he's that dog guy now, his dog's dead, time to kill people.
Yeah.
And that's all you need.
Yeah.
Unsurprised, Vigo places a $2 million bounty on John's head and personally offers the contract to John's mentor, Marcus, who accepts. And this is an important part of the movie because this takes it from just a movie to a movie that has Willem Dafoe in it.
Yes.
Which is a critical part of any movie being good.
Yes. And this is a true, is he Willem Defriend or Willem Dafoe? Because there is the sense where like, yeah, he's like his mentor, which I guess I didn't know until you just mentioned
this
that.
was Wikipedia has all the inside scoops. We just I thought he was just a friend.
Yeah, because you see him visit him at the funeral for his wife. And so you get the sense that he cares about him, at least in some sense.
Yeah.
And then he so easily takes on this contract, but you're like, okay, so like whose side are you really on? Or is there a different meaning? Yeah, I liked it.
Kyle, would you kill me for $2 million?
No, because then I wouldn't have a podcast host.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I would just be talking to myself and laughing at my own jokes. Those are very funny.
Willem Dafoe was pretty good. I enjoyed that.
Wait, would you kill me for $2 million?
Well, John seeks assistance from the New York Continental Hotel, which caters exclusively to the criminal underworld and permits no assassinations, teamed business in their language, on its premises. Vigo doubles the bounty for those willing to break this rule to kill John. Winston, the Continental's manager, informs John that Vigo has Iosef under guard at his nightclub, the Red Circle. John enters the Red Circle and kills a whole horde of thugs to reach Iosef, who narrowly escapes after Vigo's Lieutenant Kirill waylays and incapacitates John. This, to me, was the best part of the movie. Yeah. The entirety of, as soon as you see Iosef enter the Red Circle, until everyone leaves at the end, this is prime John Wick. Yeah. And it is so good.
It is so good. I also love how they portray Iosef in this, because he literally cries about wanting a bottle.
Yeah.
Right after the guy's like, I'm not here to babysit like a drunk guy. He's like, give me another bottle.
Yeah. It's so he's literally crying about missing his bottle.
Yeah.
Oh, little baby.
Yeah.
But like the visuals in this scene are stunning.
Yeah.
I also love like Wick's entrance where he has the bouncer at gunpoint. Yeah. And it does more like implied world building where he knows the bouncer. You know he's part of the mafia, so he probably knows a lot of the people he's killing.
Yep.
But he's willing to let this guy go for whatever reason. We don't know how, like they're friends clearly because they know each other.
And he asks him about his weight loss.
Yeah.
Like, wow, good job, dude. Why don't you take the night off? And he's like, thank you. He doesn't like argue or like, maybe you shouldn't do this, John. Like, I'm going to get in trouble. He's just like, thanks.
Yeah.
Because he knows everybody else that isn't getting this chance is just going to get fucked up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of a particular Looney Tunes cartoon. I think it's Looney Tunes, where there's like a sheepdog and some wolf guy who is trying to hunt the sheep, but it's just the job for them. So at the start of every episode, they both punch in and go like, morning, Ralph, morning, whatever the other guy's name is. And then they clock in, they go to their starting positions and then beat the ever-loving shit out of each other for 8 hours. And then at the end, it's always a scene where the sheepdog has the wolf in his hand, is about to punch him in the face. And then the whistle goes and they're like, well, another day. See you tomorrow. It just felt like that.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, it was very welcome. John retreats to the Continental to have his injuries treated. Miss Perkins, an assassin and former acquaintance, sneaks into John's room to kill him. Marcus alerts John. When it says that Marcus alerts John, Marcus decides not to murder him and instead wakes him up because Perkins is about to take the body instead. Allowing him to subdue Perkins, who is forced to reveal the location of Vigo's front. He knocks her unconscious and leaves her with Harry, a fellow assassin, to await punishment. So one thing I want to ask you, when Marcus is sizing up John in his bed, do you think he was actually going to kill him? How much of that was Marcus helping a friend, or it's the business side of if he shoots John Wick, Perkins is probably going to take the body and claim the bounty, so there's no point killing him?
I never thought that Marcus was ever going to kill John. I don't know if he actually, because it's difficult to say, because there obviously is a sort of just business mentality that a lot of these people have. But I think he's too much of Willem Defriend in this movie to actually kill John, because, but then he did aim at him.
Yeah. He seemed pretty dedicated to shooting him in the head until Perkins walks in.
Yeah. So maybe he was just alerting him so Perkins would be kind of out of the way.
Yeah.
But then he meets him later. But that's after the bounty's dead. Interesting.
It's hard to say. Well, Marcus, because when does the bounty get taken off? Because I believe what happens because later, like after what the church stuff we're about to get into, Viggo captures John Wick, and John Wick escapes with the help of Marco, who then after that, the bounty's taken off.
Okay, so I think he was Willem Dafoe in this for the most part, and he was maybe just keeping an eye on him.
Yeah. In my interpretation, I think he did want to kill John, but never had a good enough chance until the bounty was taken off. Because the 2 shots he had were when Perkins was about to walk in, so she would have just taken the bounty.
Yeah.
And the other time is when Viggo's men were there, and he wouldn't have known it was Marcus because he already had John Wick, so he wasn't going to pay out anyways. So I think it's left open-ended. There's no right answer.
It's true.
There's no way to know, but I think he was waiting for the right chance to kill him and just never got it. So we had to help him live until he had the chance. And then the bounty goes away, so it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. And then he pays the price for it.
Yeah.
Wow. Such an interesting dilemma.
I know.
I never considered this, but it makes you like the movie a little bit more.
Yeah, because there's that level of will they, won't they?
Yeah. The friend or the foe.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Perkins frees herself and kills Harry. John then travels to a church in Little Russia, which serves as Viggo's front and destroys his cache of money and blackmail material. When Viggo and his henchmen arrive, John ambushes them. I love that it says it ambushes them when it's one dude versus like 20, and it still counts as an ambush, but is subdued and captured. Viggo taunts John for thinking he would be able to leave his old life behind. Before John can be killed, Marcus intervenes again, allowing John to free himself, strangle Kirill to death, and accost Viggo, who reveals Iosef's location. John then travels to Iosef's safe house and kills him and his bodyguards.
This is where you'd think the movie would end. But then it goes on.
It goes on. It becomes more about Viggo at this point. As soon as Iosef is dead, this now becomes like Viggo and his end more than John Wick's story. Because like Iosef's dead. He's good. He got his revenge. But because he made Viggo give over the location of his own son, now Viggo needs to save face by killing Marco. Marcus?
Marcus.
Marco. I guess he'll kill Marcus, which then sets into motion Wick having to come back.
Yeah.
But also, I think like Viggo gives up his son pretty easily.
I think he knows it's futile.
Yeah.
He knows who he messed with. And he's like, okay, well, we can try our best to keep him at bay. We can put in like a hit on him. But like at the end of the day, my son's probably already dead. Like when he hugs him when he first realizes, I think he already knows.
Yeah.
That it's pretty much like he's a dead man walking. But
I still think it probably eases him up a little bit. And I can't imagine, even if you know your son's already dead, could you still give him the location to speed it up? I don't know. That is soul wrenching. You would never be able to look at yourself the same afterwards. And I think that inspires what he does for the rest of the movie.
Probably.
He probably hates himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like when he kills Iosef, that's kind of where the peak of the movie ends for me. And the rest of it is like, it's good, but I don't think it's as good as the beginning, like 2/3 of it.
I agree.
And I think they maybe could have done a bit of a better job getting them more intertwined.
Yeah.
And even extending the kill of Iosef until the very end. Because if you just have him like tailing along until the point where it's just Viggo and Iosef left and he has to kill Viggo to get to Iosef, then that's basically how you could kill Viggo too. But then he kills Iosef, and then because it's so intertwined and because of he has to go kill Marcus, he also then has to go kill Viggo. And it just feels like after that point, it's just like causation. And I guess that's probably part of the point. But then, it's like a cycle of violence. But then it could have been a little bit tighter, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think like it does a couple things because it's mentioned earlier in the movie that if you dip your toes back in, like something's going to grab hold of you.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. Marcus gets killed. Now he's like firmly back in.
Yeah.
But also I think they should have made it be a more emotional connection to killing Viggo afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't mind how they did Iosef. It's just quick kill. Like this is, it's still just business to John at the end of the day. He doesn't really care about extracting out some long thing, which Viggo did because he could have killed John Wick after he got car slammed, but ties him up to talk to him in monologue for a while instead. And John Wick could have done that, but it's like, nope, I'm going to kill Iosef. And that's that.
Yeah.
What I think could have happened is they could have slowly and built up him needing and wanting to kill Vigo afterwards, so that there's a bit more weight towards that part of the movie, because he already got his one up on Vigo. He got him at gunpoint.
Yeah.
The bounty gets dropped. He gets Iosef's thing. After that, it just seems like, well, because he did this, I have to do this. But you don't really care about the emotion behind him doing that.
Mm-hmm. And like, that's why I feel like you maybe could have kept Iosef alive right until the end, even if it gets to the point where they lift the bounty and they kill Marcus. But I guess you have to kill Iosef if you're also going to kill Marcus, because that's the whole reason why he killed Marcus, is because Marcus delayed killing John. Yeah. And then doing so, John killed Iosef. And then so they killed Marcus. But yeah. But it's all like,
Yeah, there's probably 100 different ways you can
here and there
do things and whatnot.
That is just like the one kind of piece of this movie that I feel like is not the greatest.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it is very strong.
I agree. All right,
let's finish this up.
Perkins learns that John and Marcus have been in contact and informs Vigo, who has Marcus beaten and tortured before killing him in his home. Vigo calls John to report this, planning to have Perkins ambush him. While waiting for John, Perkins is summoned to a meeting with Winston, who has her executed for breaking the Continental's rules, having attacked John and killed Harry, both on Continental grounds. Winston calls John to inform him that Vigo is planning to escape by helicopter. John races to New York Harbor, where he kills Vigo's remaining henchmen before fighting Vigo on the dock. Vigo pulls out a knife, and John allows himself to be stabbed, then disarms and fatally wounds Vigo and leaves him to die. John then breaks into an animal clinic to treat his wounds and releases a pit bull puppy scheduled to be euthanized. John and the dog walk home along the boardwalk where he had his final date with Helen. Aww.
Oh, I didn't even realize that was the final date with Helen, was where that was.
Me neither, until now, until I said that line.
Thanks, Wikipedia.
Thanks, Wikipedia. You know all the ins.
Yeah. No, I liked how it ended too. Like, it's nice that he got a new puppy.
Yeah.
And I did notice the tag that, he was to be put down, but there's also so many other dogs. So like,
why just one?
Why just one?
Yeah.
Take all the doggos.
Yeah.
John Wick and his army of dogs.
Yeah, that would have been so much cooler. This is another movie that has like the starting scene is the ending scene, and you circle back to how you got there. I've had a couple of those lately.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means anything.
I don't know. But it's a 2014 thing to do.
Yeah. Let's tell circular stories. 2014.
Yeah. So like as a whole, I think this movie is very good. And I mean, what it did for action as a genre is like, you can't downplay it, because towards this point, like we had been going through the kind of the Bourne curse in a way, where everything was now shaky cam, 12 cuts to cut over a fence sort of thing. And when this movie just put the camera down and just let the stuntmen, and in this case, mostly Keanu Reeves, just do their work, it was so much more fun, more enjoyable to watch. And they are able to do so much more with the camera and with the locations and the blocking to when they just like have it on these guys doing their thing than they would when they have to cut it like 8 million times because the actor can't fucking do anything, without a stunt double.
Or even they just do all the cuts because everyone else is doing all the cuts and that's the style right now.
Exactly. And it's just like, you have to give this movie credit for like changing the action genre, or like at least showing people what it can be and what they want from action movies in nowadays.
Yeah. And the choreography is so good and so fluid, and it's so well planned that it actually feels like John Wick versus 6 guys at a time.
Yeah.
It's not a movie like perhaps some Star Wars sequels where in a big group fight, you see in the background 4 dudes with staffs waiting for their turn.
Yeah.
In this one, everyone who's in the picture is currently fighting with John Wick.
Yep. And I really like one kind of small detail is he has to reload.
Yeah.
There's one really fun shot that I like where he goes to shoot a guy and he's out of bullets. And so he has to wait, reload. The guy's still just like scrambling and like falling over against a pillar, reloads, and then shoots him in the head.
And like, I didn't bother counting the bullets, but I'm willing to bet if you did that it was accurate to the magazine sizes and whatnot.
For sure. Like you can tell that this is a stuntman or stunt coordinator behind the camera too, because like there's so much passion put into these stunt pieces that are kind of glossed over in the Wikipedia, because essentially that's what happens. John kills 12 people in his house and then they clean it up. But the amount of effort that went into these action set pieces is like astounding.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
What did you think of Keanu Reeves acting, both action and non-action?
Yeah, obviously he is an action like hero. Like this Master. Guy is so good, and he puts so much work into mastering these scenes and making sure it's believable. And I have to give him credit for that. But I've never thought he was a great actor.
Me neither.
And like he does kind of do the same thing in most movies, and he has like maybe 2 modes, which is like kind of zen and or like kind of reserved. And then when he's like getting angry, he has that where he's like, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. And you're like, okay, that was like, you know, a really cool line, but it was like, yeah, I don't really know. It's hard to say.
What I think really played to Keanu Reeves' strengths in The Matrix is his character in general is supposed to be confused and not know many things. Yeah. And I think that covered up a lot of John Wick's acting.
He goes from like
Keanu Reeves acting.
He goes from like very confused to like completely zen, all knowing, doesn't even have to put on any other facial expression because he's just in control. And so like, I think that was probably easy for him.
Yeah, that worked really well for him.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of ruins his relationship building in John Wick because I don't believe that all these people are his friends. He only says 5 words to other people. He does the Batman thing where he never talks back to people. So it's like, how does he have intimate friendships with everyone when he won't on screen respond to them or speak to them in a meaningful way?
Yeah. I really liked the interaction with, what was the guy's name in the at the Continental that he tasks with watching Miss Perkins?
Harry,
I
think
that was just like a fun interaction where like Harry comes out with a gun, like ready to deal with anybody who's like doing business on Continental grounds, and it just was like, oh hey John, hey Harry, working again? It's complicated.
And I think like that one scene where I think the guy's name's Francis outside the red circle, like that works. You ask him about how, like he lost weight. Like that was actually a good interaction. So I don't know how much of that was the writing in the character where maybe he should have interacted with these other people more because he's fine enough.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to use a lot of words, but with how it's currently like acted and portrayed, it's not amazing.
Yeah. It's like the casual conversations that are the strongest.
Yeah.
So, the ones that feel like an actual conversation that 2 people would have. But when he's like meant to say like really badass lines, it just kind of feels forced.
It does. Yeah.
But, yeah. I'm willing to give it a pass because he's just like such a good action star.
Yeah. It's not enough to actually really detract from the movie. It's just a couple times it's a little goofy in the delivery. But for the most part, everything in between the action scenes is perfectly fine to get you to the next one.
Yeah. And this movie did like a lot in the beginning to set up kind of an emotion that they wanted you to feel.
Yeah.
Like it was doing a first 10 minutes of Up sort of thing where it wants you to like see this character have a trauma and be sad, but it doesn't rely on Keanu Reeves acting so much. It just shows you what you need to know, which is like him at a 2-person sink by himself with like his wife's bracelet or necklace, whatever it was, just by his bedside, just him being alone or him going to the funeral and just the quick flashbacks that you get. I don't know what it was about this particular time, but that intro got me more than it had before. Really? I was like kind of getting a little emotional, but I think it was when the puppy was introduced to because it's such a sweet little puppy. And it is just one of those things like how much an animal can like help somebody. Just be like helpful with your grief and you just like can help them heal. And it's such a beautiful thing that she did for him when she knew that she was going to die to give him this puppy that he can kind of like use to cherish and to like help grieve. So he's not doing it alone.
Yeah. Like that's really sweet.
Yeah. And it makes it all the harder when fucking baby bottle Iosef fucking kills him because he wants his nice car.
Yeah, like absolute fool mode. What was your favorite kill? Of all the kills in the movie, what was your number one?
That's a good question.
I got mine right.
Okay, go for it. Yeah, go for it.
I think like at the end of the movie, it did get a little loose. Like it wasn't the tightest possible.
Yeah.
But they did have John Wick back up full speed into a guy, have him tumble over the roof of the car while John Wick is shooting him down the front of the car. That was my favorite. They really saved that one for last.
He's dead on arrival for the concrete, but that's a good one. Geez, I don't know. There's so many quick, just like headshots. I couldn't say.
It's tough. Yeah. I did also love the giant bodybuilder in the red circle who like surfaces, gets beached for 2 seconds and then just gets shot a bunch because bullets don't care about muscle.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many characters in here that like pop up and you think they're going to be important for a bit, but then they just get killed anyways.
Yeah, and that's kind of a fun redirect.
Yeah. There's one fun fact that I think is fun to mention here. According to the directors, Chad Stahelski and David Leitch, they reused quite a few of the stuntmen several times throughout the film. In order to make them look like different people, they would change their hair. So scenes of the guards and henchmen with long hair and beards were shot first, and the scenes with bald men were most likely shot last.
That's so funny.
People got more and more bald as the movie went on.
That's really good. Man, talk about hair pulling your workout. Oh, wait, no, work pulling your hair out? No. Oh, God.
It was a good joke. It still landed.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, well, what do you think the critics and audiences thought of this movie?
I'm going to say, now that I know it was more of a sleeper than expected, I bet it was still highly rated, but maybe didn't rake in the cash as much. Mm-hmm. I am going to say that the critics are going to give it an 87 and fans are going to give it a 92. I think people loved it.
Wow. You're very close with the critics. It's 86%.
Ooh,
so
I'll
one
take
off. That. Audiences were actually lower. They're 81%.
God. Damn it.
Yeah.
Well, a dog does die.
That's
I will
say
that's going to sour some people.
Yeah. Some people, probably the barrier to entry ends when the dog dies and then like they don't go through the rest of it. Mm-hmm. But IMDb of 7.4, Metacritic of 68.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a huge discrepancy from Rotten Tomatoes too.
Mm-hmm. Very strange. However, what we've been kind of mentioning so far, it was a bit of a sleeper. It had a box office of $76 million on a budget of $30 million.
Still not bad, but deserved a lot more.
To put that in perspective, it was 95th for the worldwide box office this year.
Wow.
Yeah. It definitely found its audiences later, probably through streaming and through other rentals and DVDs, Blu-ray, 4K, everything. Because Chapter 2 worldwide was 171.3 million and Chapter 3 worldwide was 325.6 million. So it's been growing as a franchise since.
I wonder how much of that was also like the increasing personality cult around Keanu Reeves, where he just, from being a good person, kept getting more and more fan support who would probably later go back through his catalog and would be like, wow, John Wick's a phenomenal movie. Where was I in 2014? Wasting my time. That's where.
Mm-hmm. And I definitely think word of mouth was good for this movie.
Absolutely.
Because like in theaters, it could have looked like a very standard action movie, you know, named after a character that no one's ever heard of. You know, it stars Keanu Reeves, which, you know, can be hit or miss sometimes when it comes to the action genre. But, you know, overall, it might have been one that you were willing to wait to see at home. Mm-hmm. And when people did see it at home, they were blown away and they were happy and people spread the word and it eventually found its audience. And it's not even a cult following anymore. I think people
it's
like
mainstream.
Yeah, it's mainstream. But yeah. What would you rank this movie on? Let's see your enjoyment score for John Wick.
Okay. Action, incredible.
Yeah.
A lot of the cinematography, really captivating.
It is, yeah.
Ending felt like they had to add something for runtime or something like that, and they maybe didn't have it fully planned out.
Yep.
And also some of the acting wasn't to like blow me away all the time. I'm going to give this a 4, I think.
That's solid for me. I think I'll also give it a 4. That's where I was sitting.
Yep. I think it's a good spot to leave it at.
Because it is easy to sit back and enjoy this movie. It's not even very long. It's like an hour 40.
Yeah.
And so it's really easy to sit back, relax, watch the action movie. You know, maybe not pay attention too much to the plot elements of the third act of the movie. But overall, like, you're coming to watch these action set pieces and they deliver.
They deliver big time. Like Amazon Prime, same day delivery. Yeah.
Which is why I think the Craft score is probably going to be a lot higher for both of us.
Yeah.
And by a lot higher, it's either half a point or
half
1
a point. Yeah.
What's your Craft score?
Speaking of which, I'm going to slap down a 5. The stunt work in this is the best we're going to see this year. I would be blown away if anything like met or surpassed it. And you can really tell that the director is a stunt person because it is built all for that. And oh baby, it delivers with some like added benefits of like, it's just a well put together movie.
Yeah, it is. I agree. I think I'm going to go 5 for craft because I can't overlook how well these action set pieces were constructed and how much influence has had on action since then. Like, I think even Marvel movies made a difference. If you look at, I mean, Winter Soldier, we'll talk about this year, but Captain America Civil War, they brought on Chad Stahelski, the director, to be second unit and the stunt coordinator for Civil War.
Damn.
And I think other Marvel movies since then. So like they wanted that style and they definitely got it. So
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Execution, acting and writing.
I am going to say this is probably where it hits its low point as far as the ratings go. I'm going to sauce this one a 3.5. I think it's overall still good, but there's room to tighten it up.
Yeah.
And like a noticeable amount as well.
Yeah. I think my like gripes with the third act and also with like the acting of Keanu Reeves, not the greatest, but willing to overlook the world building that they do in the script is really cool.
Very good.
Monologues, maybe a little too many.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to go, I don't think it's a 3. I'll give it a 3.5 as well.
I think that's fair.
Execution. Oh, sorry. We talked about rewatchability.
Rewatchability. Yeah. I would be fine with watching this one again.
Yeah.
But like, I think this is the second time I've watched it. I've kind of had my John Wick moment. So I'm going to give this one a 2.5. Average rewatchability. I'm not going to run away from it, but like, I don't feel a need to watch it anymore.
That's true. I think once you've kind of gone through the first one, you don't really need to go through it again. But I will definitely rewatch this movie. I don't think I'll watch it because the fourth one comes out next year. I'll probably just watch the second and third one again because I've watched this one now. I don't need to watch this one for another year.
Just listen to this episode.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
There we go. I'll put down a 3.
That's fair. There we go. We are wildly different. We've massively disagreed on this movie. I have given it a 15 out of 20 for a 75%.
Yeah.
Kyle, you have given this a 15.5 out of 20, light years ahead for a 78%.
I think that's perfectly fair for this movie.
I'm happy with that.
Yep. Where does that rank though?
That's the question. I know where I'm going to put it.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Give me yours.
I'm going to slot this in currently number 4.
Yeah.
So the new order, without ever having said the old order, because it's pretty short, so there's no point. Number 1, Interstellar, then Gone Girl, Nightcrawler, John Wick, Big Hero 6, American Sniper.
I think we're going to be keeping it the same.
Yep.
We're keeping on that single graphic for social media.
And we're going to keep doing that until we really disagree about something and it's not worth the effort.
It'll happen.
It will eventually. It took us a while last season. It'll take us a while again this season.
Yeah. And I feel like the movies that we've been talking about thus far, it's easy to place. We've had some difficulty with Gone Girl.
Yeah.
Because when you account for Interstellar and Nightcrawler, it made it a little bit difficult, but it's really easy to place this one below Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
But above Big Hero 6.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that below Nightcrawler, above Big Hero 6 territory is going to start filling up pretty quick.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, do you want to hear what other people thought on Letterboxd with some funny Letterboxd reviews?
I am so curious what people had to say on Letterboxd with some fun Letterboxd reviews.
So this has a 3.8 out of 5 on Letterboxd. So pretty high. With 5 stars on a rewatch by Georgina. Who would win, the Russian mafia or just one angry boy?
Oh, one angry boy.
I guess one angry boy.
One angry boy, and it's not close.
3.5 on a rewatch by Jay. A lot of people rewatch this movie, so it's definitely getting its views in. Willem Dafoe. I'm something of an assassin myself.
Not a great one if you die.
Yes. And he didn't assassinate anybody. Oh, I guess he killed a couple of the Russian guards.
Yeah, his body count is just absolutely piddlywink compared to John Wick, though.
3 stars by Just Me Is Life. My favorite type of movies are the ones where I didn't know Willem Dafoe would be in them, and I'm surprised and happy to know about that.
I always feel like that. Yeah. Every time a movie, like I never know who's in movies before I watch them anyways.
Yeah.
But every time Willem Dafoe's there, I just get a little smile on my face. Yeah. It's great. It's just the most welcome little Easter egg in all movies. And like, he's an actor. He's supposed to be there, but it feels like a bonus when he is.
I know. I've never seen a movie where Willem Dafoe's come in and I'm like, oh, why is he in here? I don't think that'll ever happen too. He's always a pleasant addition, even in the smallest roles.
Yeah. Like we watched Nightmare Alley and he was there. I was like, nice.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe movie. All right.
All right. And this is probably the sum of everybody who doesn't like this movie. Half a star watched by Coco Della Libera. I don't like dogs.
Well, this is a great movie for you. One gets beaten to death.
Yeah, you'd think they'd love this movie, but no.
Loved the first 10 minutes, hated the vengeance that was received afterwards. We wanted that dog to die in vain.
Well, because the Academy has yet to recognize stunt performances, it has no Academy Award nominations. It did, however, receive other awards nominations. It was the winner of Best Fight at the World Stunt Awards for the scene of John Wick defending his house from a squad of assassins.
Yeah, not shocked. That is just fantastic.
Yeah, and it won the IGN Summer Movie Award for Best Action Movie. So that was about all the awards it got. But does any of that surprise you? Do you think it deserved anything else?
I, even at smaller places, would have liked to see some cinematography nominations. I don't think I needed to win them, but like I am still struck by some of the shots in the red circle. They're so good.
They are really good. And like the effort that they went through to capture the stunt performance is like, you got to give them some credit for that.
Absolutely. I think they should have got credit for that. Obviously, I'm pretty sure we're both of the same opinion where we wish stunt people got some kind of recognition for the amazing work they did, but that's a whole other beast.
Yeah.
But if they could, they would. So,
and that's such an easy category for the Oscars to get people on board.
Yeah.
Because like they're trying so hard and they're doing it this year to get like the casual movie going people to get involved with their Oscar fan favorite vote. If you want to have the Oscar quote fan favorite movies in the show, put in a stunt performance Oscar, because then you're giving these incredibly talented performers and coordinators some recognition and their due with recognition. And you're also including the movies the public probably went and saw more so than the actual Oscar movies. And you're actually giving them an award for doing a cool thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, it seems like such an easy fix to me.
Such an easy fix.
And they're just dancing around it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Like the hottest shit right now is superhero movies laced with fight and action scenes.
Yeah.
I think the people would like some fight and action scenes.
Right?
Yeah.
But no. Visual effects. That's it.
Like the Academy, like a butt of me. Idiots.
I mean, yeah, like, because you could have stunt performances and stunt choreography, or you could just do what they do with the sound category and just do sound or just stunts, because then you're acknowledging the performance and the choreography.
Yeah.
I don't know. They could do that.
I don't know.
This is a different conversation.
Yeah.
We could table, but if there was that category, this would definitely have won. This
would
year,
not have been
sure.
close. Yeah.
I mean, like, it might have gotten some competition from Winter Soldier because there are some cool fights in there, but
this is
pretty much
setting a new bar.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, I have some more interesting facts other than the ones I've already mentioned.
Nice.
According to Keanu Reeves, he did 90% of his own stunts in the film. His preparation for the role included weapons and martial arts trainings 8 hours per day for 4 months.
Wow.
He even learned and memorized the nightclub fight sequence the day that the scene was filmed.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's a very long scene.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Keanu Reeves is a master, though.
Yeah. For sure. When John Wick awakens to the Russians in his home, this scene mirrors a similar incident that happened to Keanu Reeves in 2014, the same year this movie was released.
God.
Where Reeves awoke to a stalker that had broken into his home. Keanu Reeves calmly talks to the stalker and then called the police at the first opportunity he had and had the stalker arrested soon after.
Jesus. I mean, again, Keanu Reeves is the man.
Yeah.
He has every inch of his body could kill a person and he just talks the guy down.
Yeah.
Like, good on Keanu. He doesn't immediately call 911. He's like, yeah, I'm going to go have a heart-to-heart with this guy. Maybe I can workshop my acting ability to deliver emotion in this moment. Maybe I can get some practice in on that. Keanu, good guy.
But how terrifying would that be?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Does Keanu have a dog? Because
I feel like he should get it.
If someone broke into my house right after the filming of John Wick wrapped, first thing I'm doing is just locking my dog in a room so it doesn't get John Wicked.
Yeah. Okay, so remember earlier I said John Wick was named after the writer's maternal grandfather?
Yes.
Well, in the original script, the character of John Wick was written to be a man in his mid-60s.
Oh.
Yeah. Given the title character's fabled reputation, ergo, the filmmakers had initially imagined an older actor.
That's cool.
However, the head of Thunder Road Pictures, Basil Iwanek, decided against this, stating, instead, we decided to look for someone who is not literally older, but who has a seasoned history in the film world.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And you know what? If we make a couple more John Wicks, we will get a 60-year-old actor doing it. So
it's true.
We're getting there anyways.
And I mean, they're doing it with a 70-year-old Liam Neeson right now. They're still making action movies with that guy.
I don't even want to see some of these. I don't know if he's not allowed to retire or if he just refuses to, but come on, guys, give the man a break.
Yeah, honestly, let the man just like do another, I don't know, Schindler's List? something not
Schindler's List 2.
Oh my God.
Schindler's List, he's checking it twice.
Oh no. Have you seen Schindler's List?
No.
Okay.
I'm familiar with the subject matter though.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck, that's funny. Lance Reddick, who plays the hotel concierge, who I love that guy.
He's so good.
Yeah. The character's name is Charon. In Greek mythology, Charon is the ferryman of Hades. You have to pay Charon for safe passage. Hence why Lance Reddick puts the gold coin in his pocket at the hotel. John, in a sense, is paying for safe passage.
Oh, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, interesting naming. But other than the stunt one, that's all I have for interesting facts.
Well, those were very interesting facts.
Great.
And not littered, gently placed throughout the episode. So it's not all one giant fact load.
Yeah.
You sprinkle. That's what it's looking for. They're sprinkled around for the listener to stumble upon.
Yeah. Well, if they were related to the box office, you got to throw them in the box office area.
You have to.
If they were related to the director, you got to throw them where the director.
You got to put them on the director. Yeah.
But yeah. Any final thoughts on John Wick?
Yeah. I kind of want to watch the sequels now. I've never seen them, but now I kind of want to.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you should definitely watch the sequels. I think they get better.
Interesting, because I was happy with one. I was very happy with one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. See, I remember one the most because I think it's the most basic.
Yeah.
But I think I enjoyed 2 and 3 more.
Interesting.
Because they get bigger. They're allowed to get bigger. They probably had bigger budgets and they had bigger returns. So, yeah. Definitely watch them.
It's good to know. Do you have any final thoughts on John Wick?
No. I'm happy it's a franchise.
Me too.
And I'm glad they didn't. So I guess I do have a final thought.
The classic.
Yeah. I'm glad that the $70 million on a $30 million budget didn't get them discouraged and that we got the franchise out of that because it deserved it.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, that just proves that you have a base to do bigger things with now.
Yeah.
If even like a pretty unknown project, even though Keanu Reeves is a big actor, the project itself is unknown.
Yeah.
It wasn't based on anything. It was a new original concept and they were able to blow it up for a over 100% return.
Yeah.
At least it shows like we can make a franchise out of this.
Yes. And I wish they would make more movies like this that are non-IP, mid-budget.
Oh yeah.
Added, maybe a well-known actor, but just give a new thing a shot.
Try something different. And also, when they do make something new and different, support it, I guess.
Yeah,
because a lot of them
it.
are losing money, and then I don't know I don't know the solution to that. Maybe it's less streaming services and more going out to the movie theaters to watch the things you want to watch. But is that better? Should the onus be on the consumer to fix this problem with the industry? I don't know. John Wick's a good movie.
I will give streaming services some credit. They are taking chances on lower budget and non-IP projects, which is good. Good
That's
for them.
True.
I wish that the bigger studios would take chances on stuff like that too.
Yeah. You know what? If popcorn didn't cost $1 million, people would go to movies more. This is on big movies.
Yeah.
And big cinemas.
This is big cinemas. Bro.
Yeah. There we go. We found the villain. John Wick will kill him.
right. Well, I want to thank you all for listening to season 2, episode 6 of Snubs and Dubs. As always, you can find us everywhere on social media at Snubs and Dubs. That's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Letterboxd, etc. We're also on Good Pods, so make sure to check us out there and join our official Discord. We'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on John Wick or on this episode, so please send us a tweet or a message with a question, recommendation, or anything else. I'm also at Kyle Tobiasson on Twitter, and Jason is at Windy_Mills. Of course, all those links are going to be in the show notes. Make sure to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Share the show to everyone you know, and check back next week for another episode. Here's a sneak peek of the film we're going to talk about.
You guys ready to have some fun?
Yeah!
Whoa! Don't worry about it.
Looks like I can use the bumpers.
You don't want the bumpers. Life doesn't give you bumpers.
Unrelated, did you know that Keanu Reeves was born in Beirut?
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's Lebanese.
Whoa. I thought he was also Canadian.
Bro, oh, yeah. He's, I think, Canadian parents, born in Beirut and raised in Toronto.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, cool.
Another interesting fact.
Yeah. Anyways, that's Boyhood for you. Oh, because that was his Boyhood. Yes, tied it in.
There we go. All right, well, next episode, we are going to talk about Boyhood. This is the next Academy Award nominee. We're getting through them faster this year because there is more. But make sure to watch it before next episode. It's another long one. It is the second longest one we're talking about. I think everything after this is shorter, which is good. I can't wait for you guys to hear the episode. Thanks for listening. That's a wrap. Bye.
Bye for now.